They told him his voice was damaged forever. They told him a poor village kid with a broken throat could never stand on a world stage. But on one night, under blinding lights, with judges who had heard everything, this child opened his mouth, and changed their lives forever. If you believe miracles still exist, subscribe now, because this story will stay in your heart long after the video ends. In a small forgotten village where the roads cracked like old scars and electricity came only when the sky allowed it, there lived a boy named Eli. His house was made of rusted tin and uneven wood, pressed tightly against fields of dry soil where nothing grew easily. Every morning before the sun rose, Eli woke to the sound of coughing in his own chest. It was not a normal cough. It was deep, painful, and rough, like sand scraping against stone. The village doctor once said his vocal cords were damaged from an infection he caught as a child. Singing, they warned, would only make it worse. But Eli sang anyway. He sang while carrying water from the well. He sang while helping his mother wash clothes in the river. He sang softly at night, pressing his face into a thin pillow so no one would hear the pain in his voice or the tears in his eyes. His father had died years earlier in a factory accident far from the village, leaving behind debt instead of dreams. His mother worked wherever she could, bending her back so her son could eat. Music was the only place where Eli felt whole. At school, children laughed at him. His voice cracked. It rasped. Sometimes it disappeared completely. Teachers told him to stop embarrassing himself. One teacher even said that a broken voice matched a broken future. Those words stayed with him longer than hunger ever did. One evening, a traveling van stopped in the village square. It carried a generator, a screen, and speakers that buzzed loudly. The villagers gathered as images flickered to life. It was a singing competition from America. Bright lights, huge crowds, judges with serious faces and louder reactions. When the golden buzzer was pressed, golden confetti rained down like dreams. Eli stood frozen. For the first time, he saw people who were heard. That night, he told his mother he wanted to sing on that stage. She did not laugh. She did not say no. She only touched his throat gently and asked how a broken voice could survive such a world. Eli answered with tears, saying that broken things sometimes make the most beautiful sounds. Weeks passed. Eli practiced secretly, knowing every note cost him pain. Blood sometimes appeared when he coughed after singing too long. But quitting felt worse than the pain. A local teacher recorded a short video on a borrowed phone and sent it to the competition auditions, never believing anyone would watch it. Months later, a letter arrived. Eli had been invited to audition in America. The village gathered as if a miracle had fallen from the sky. Money was collected coin by coin. Neighbors sold chickens. A stranger donated a bus ticket to the city. Eli hugged his mother tightly, promising he would come back no matter what happened. The journey was terrifying. Airports, planes, voices in languages he did not understand. His throat burned from dry air. By the time he reached the audition city, his voice was weaker than ever. Backstage, contestants warmed up confidently. Powerful voices echoed through the hall. Eli sat alone, hands shaking, wondering if this was a mistake. A producer asked if he was okay. Eli nodded, though fear was choking him more than his injury ever had. Then his name was called. He walked onto the stage, lights blinding him. The judges looked curious, unsure. They asked where he was from. When he explained, the room grew quiet. One judge asked about his voice. Eli admitted it was damaged. The audience shifted uncomfortably. He chose a song his father used to hum. The music started. His first note cracked badly. Some winced. He almost stopped. But then something happened. Eli leaned into the pain. He did not fight his broken voice. He used it. Each word carried years of loss, hunger, and hope. The rasp became emotion. The weakness became truth. People began to cry. Judges leaned forward. One judge's hand hovered near the golden buzzer but hesitated. Eli reached the final note, holding it longer than his body allowed. His knees buckled as the music ended. Silence. For a moment, no one moved. The silence was heavy, like the air before a storm. Eli stood there, breathing painfully, waiting for rejection. He had prepared himself for polite smiles, gentle words, and the walk back into obscurity. Then the audience stood. Applause erupted like thunder. People were crying openly. One judge wiped their eyes and said they had never heard pain sound so honest. Another admitted they forgot about technique entirely and only felt the story. Eli tried to smile, but his throat burned too much. The judge, known for being hardest to impress, spoke last. They said something unexpected. They said perfection is boring, but truth is unforgettable. They asked Eli if he believed he deserved to be heard. Eli answered quietly that he only wanted his mother to hear him once more. The judge stood. The golden buzzer was pressed. Golden confetti exploded from the ceiling. Eli flinched in shock as it rained down around him. The sound overwhelmed him. His knees gave out completely this time. He collapsed to the floor, sobbing uncontrollably, not from pain, but from relief. Years of being told he was broken shattered in 1 second of belief. Backstage, medics checked his throat. A specialist later offered treatment options he never knew existed. Donations poured in from viewers across the country. His village watched the broadcast on the same old screen, screaming, crying, and holding each other as if the world had finally noticed them. Eli called his mother that night. He could barely speak, but she understood every sound. She told him his father would have been proud. Eli slept for the first time without fear. In the following rounds, Eli did not always sound perfect. Some days his voice failed him. But America listened anyway. People related to his struggle. Veterans, single parents, kids who had been told they were not enough. His story became bigger than music. In the finale, Eli did not win first place. But he won something greater. A record label offered him a deal that respected his limits. A foundation was built to help children with vocal injuries. His village received electricity for the first time. And Eli returned home, not as a broken boy, but as proof that weakness can carry power. Years later, Eli stood on another stage, not to compete, but to inspire. His voice was still rough, still imperfect, still real. And when he sang, people listened. Because sometimes the voice that almost breaks is the one that hits the hardest.